Hi everyone, my name is Mary Tamborski, and I just wanted to take a quick minute and teach you a tool that I have recently found to be so helpful in this new crazy situation that we're all experiencing, being in the shelter in place with our kiddos, now having to homeschool them, being in our living space 24/7. I don't think I've ever spent this much time with my husband, and we've been together more than 20 years. And also with my children, so there's 5 of us total. And one of the things that we want to consider as parents is that not only has our world been completely turned upside down, within one news statement, one news alert, we found out that the kids' school was being shut down for 5 weeks, and now we're learning it could be 5 months. And then the few days later, we found out that we were being encouraged to stay in our homes and to stop the spread and to really just flatten the curve. And for parents, we know this is stressful. Our routines have been changed, our schedules, everything that's predictable and the same in our lives has been turned upside down. And we all know that we're creatures of habit, and when we don't have that, it can really disrupt us emotionally, mentally, and then of course financially. Some people are really stressing for the sake of their jobs, but I didn't really consider until a few days ago how this was really affecting my kids, because in the parents' eyes, they got school break for what was going to be much longer than their original spring break, and they were happy about it. For them, it was just a vacation. And I saw many parents online quickly trying to learn how to homeschool and to teach their kids all these different subjects and to manage their schedule with their work and their career and their home and their own peace of mind and mental health, and then trying to juggle all of that. So it's a lot. And my 7-year-old, I have a 7, 11, and 13-year-old, and my 7-year-old was really starting to be whiny and negative and was complaining a lot. And what I noticed is that his tone of voice just immediately, not even as a second or third attempt, but his first attempt was just being kind of ornery and demanding and really pushing my buttons. And we know as parents that when we don't have that time to recharge or refuel or to go to work and do those other things that bring us joy and that help us reset so that we can have a full tank of energy to give our kids and patience, then we can flip our lid a little more often, which means we, say things we might not normally say, or make threats, or just get annoyed in general and just feel completely irritated. So I decided it was important to talk about the tool of do versus don't. Many parents are telling their children what not to do. They're saying, don't touch that, don't run, don't scream, don't hit your brother, don't forget your plate, don't put your shoes on, the stairs. Don't. And what happens often, if not always, is that we're inviting a defiance and a resistance from our children. And I want you to think about, if you were constantly being told what not to do, how discouraging that would be for you, and how that might even invite some of that misbehavior or rebellion. And we wonder why our kids are being so defiant. Well, it's because they're sick and tired of us telling them what to do or not to do. So what we want to do as parents is encourage them and remember that we are constantly modeling for them. We're modeling the behaviors that we want them to have, that we want them to learn, the skills that we hope that they develop. And we need to remember that the best way for them to learn is through us modeling that. So, for example, we can't say don't yell or don't speak to me in that tone when you are speaking to your child in that exact same tone, or you're wondering why they're being disrespectful. Well, your first clue is they're being disrespectful to you because you're most likely being disrespectful to them. And there's 2 T's that I always like to mention when it comes to communication. And this is whether you're dealing with a toddler, a teenager, or your spouse. And that would be timing and tone. If you are to present something to somebody and it's not the right time, if they're distracted doing something else, or they are not ready to hear what you have to say because they're focused on something else, then that's not the right time. Or if they're upset. If somebody else is upset, that's not the time to talk to them and to problem solve. They could also be sensing your tone. You might be having a tone with them, and the biggest way to know if you are is if you get a tone from your child. If you get that sassy little stinker comeback, either from your toddler or from your teenager, it might even be an eye roll or a sigh. That one's really common. It's the silent language, but it to me is pretty obvious from our teenagers. But to know that that is not the time to have that conversation. So to either check yourself and your tone, or to check in with yourself and ask yourself if this is the right time. So if it is the right time, because you've created connection either within yourself or within your relationship with your child, and then with that connection also has a really inviting and encouraging tone, then that's the time to present some of this new information or these new do's that we want them to do. So I'm going to go back to my 7-year-old who was coming down the stairs and complaining immediately about the news being on. Why do we have this stupid news on? And so rather than getting upset with him and saying, you know, I don't like that you're waking up in this bad mood and you come down the stairs with this, you know, attitude or this energy. That's not good for me. It's not good for you. Don't do that. That's not okay. I might have even said that once. And yes, I'll just be honest. I've said that once. And then I had to reflect and remember, okay, I need to tell him what to do and to tell him, you know, what to do, how to do it, and then why I appreciate him doing it. So, hi, Parker, good morning. You know what I would love is if you came downstairs and you gave mommy a big hug and a big kiss and said, good morning, mommy. And we started every day that way. How would you feel about that? Asking your child, would you be willing to try that? And then letting them know that when he comes to you with this energy and this tone, that he's going to receive good energy back. It's like a reflection. We get what we give. So you can start teaching that principle and valuable life skill. And then for my other son, let's say he's on his phone, 13 years old, don't go on your phone again. Why are you on your phone again? Did you ask to go on your phone? You need to get off your phone. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't. And all it does is invite a little bit of rebellion. Maybe he sneaks on it and just doesn't get caught. Or he might feel some resentment towards me or toward this pandemic that he's cooped up in the house and this is actually his only way to connect with his friends and the outside world. But to then understand that this is his new normal and we need to figure out that there's limits and boundaries. But rather than coming up to him and saying, don't do this, I need to find the right time and the right tone and say, I notice, that's another tool, just to start with saying that, I notice that you have been on your phone more often. And I want to talk to you about, you know, what that's about. So you could ask them some curiosity questions and, you know, tell me what it is. Is it because you don't have other things to do? Is it because you're bored? But you're asking these questions. You really want to draw forth and figure out from your kiddos, why is it that they're on that phone so much? And then say, well, how would you feel about setting up certain limits with screen-free time or having a certain schedule where we're doing work for 4 hours. We created a whole routine chart with them. And scheduling, that's a different tool, different topic. And saying, between 10 and 2, how would you feel about no phones between 10 and 2? And really getting into his world and connecting with him and letting him know you understand and that it is a way for him to socially connect, but that it's really important because he's not only setting himself up for more bad habits, but he's also setting that example for his little brothers. And it's a disconnect. We all know that when you're on your phone, you're disconnected, and we need to, from humans, you're connected virtually or online, but not with the people that you're around. So we want to teach them about how to connect. What are some of the different things that we can do when we're not on our phone, and to really encourage him and brainstorm some different ideas. So rather than getting mad and telling them what not to do, we're going to encourage them, connect with them, correct with them, and tell them what to do. And again, it's not about you telling them your agenda. It's got to be really about brainstorming and coming up with a win-win situation for everyone. We want to get them involved because when your children feel connected to you, when they feel heard, when they feel validated and they feel like you're really listening to them, and parents, that's not easy. You got to zip it to really listen and open those ears wide. When they feel listened to, they will listen to you, and then they will respond with that same respectful communication. I can't tell you what a game changer that is. Timing and tone, especially with my teenager, and then with my younger one. Another tool, if he's got this bad energy or this negative attitude, I can say, I notice that you're in this mood, and ask him, would a hug help you to feel better? And if he says, no, I don't want to hug, no, this is stupid, whatever it is that he's complaining about or in a bad mood about, just say, okay, no problem. You can be as mad as you want, mad as long as you want. Just come find me when you're ready for a hug, or when you're ready to when you feel better. So I hope this helps. We're in this together. I know you hear it over and over again, but as parenting, the most difficult job in the world, the one that we received absolutely zero education and training, we are really struggling in the trenches now because we're in a brand new situation that we've never even been in as human beings, let alone as parents. And so we're juggling a lot of new balls and a lot of new unknown circumstances, and it can be stressful. And really just getting into your children's world and connecting with them. We have 52 different tools to help you connect with your children and to help them feel encouraged and for them to be problem solvers and to be more respectful and responsible and contributing. The list goes on. But we have lots of information and lots of tools to really help you enjoy parenting and to enjoy this time with your children. Because without these tools, I know that we would be struggling. I have the tools and I'm still struggling when I don't use them. But when I go back to the tools that I know are so helpful and so encouraging, then parenting is definitely more enjoyable. All right, I hope to connect with you more soon. Take care. Bye-bye.